The story kicks off with introducing Chuck, an employee at FedEx known for his unwavering discipline and dedication to his job. He frequently embarks on journeys to various FedEx branches across the country and overseas, inspiring fellow employees to reduce the delivery time. Chuck is romantically involved with Kelly, his girlfriend, and their relationship thrives on love and understanding. They have plans to tie the knot in the near future. But one day Chuck is required to travel abroad for a FedEx assignment only a few days before Christmas, which leaves Kelly feeling upset. Nevertheless, Chuck assures her that he will be back before New Year's Eve, ensuring they can celebrate together. But Kelly questions, what about Christmas? But Chuck somehow manages to persuade her. As Chuck prepares to board the plane, he presents Kelly with her Christmas gift. In return, Kelly surprises him with her family watch adorned with her photograph. Then Chuck boards the plane, which happens to be a private plane owned by FedEx, so there are only 4 people on board. However, after a short while, the weather deteriorates rapidly, causing their plane to crash into the Pacific Ocean. Everyone on the plane perishes, except for Chuck, who manages to find himself in an inflatable boat, struggling to save his own life amidst the treacherous storm. But soon, he loses consciousness. Upon waking up in the morning, he finds himself on a deserted island. As he gets up, he notices several FedEx boxes washed up on the shore. He gathers them and brings them along with him. He tries calling out for help on the island, but there is no one else there except him. Afterwards, he uses his feet to write help on the beach, hoping it will catch the attention of any passing planes. However, when he wakes up the next day, he realizes that the sign he made has been washed away by the water. Undeterred, he constructs a new sign, this time using pieces of wood to ensure its durability. While he sits there, he suddenly hears a sound from behind and turns around, only to discover that it was the noise of a falling coconut. Feeling thirsty, he tries to open the coconut, but it proves to be quite challenging. Nevertheless, he perseveres and eventually figures out how to create a hole in the coconut, allowing him to drink its refreshing water. He also encounters challenges in walking due to the absence of shoes, prompting him to tear his pants and use it as a footwear by wrapping the fabric around his feet. With this arrangement, he climbs to the highest point of the island just to get a better understanding of the island. As he surveys the surroundings, he spots something strange floating in the sea below. Reacting swiftly, he approaches the object and realizes that it is the deceased pilot from the crashed plane. Chuck carefully brings the body back to the island. In a practical move, he takes possession of the pilot's shoes and flashlight, ensuring their usefulness for himself. After that, he buries the pilot's body. Determined to honor the pilot's memory, Chuck carves his name and lifespan onto a stone on the island. Chuck quickly begins to adapt to his surroundings, learning skills like opening coconuts and collecting morning dew from leaves by directing it into the coconut. One night, he spots a distant ship and tries to get its attention by making noise and using his torch. However, the ship is too far away for anyone to notice Chuck, making it impossible to establish contact. Determined, Chuck decides the next morning that he will reach the ship on his own. Grabbing his floating tube, he sets off towards the vessel. However, the waves of the ocean soon make him realize that relying solely on the floating tube won't be enough to cover the distance. Then he proceeds to open each of the FedEx boxes he collected from the shore. However, only a few boxes contain items that are useful to him. He discovers a volleyball in one box and a pair of ice skates in another. Utilizing the ice skates, he manages to crack open coconuts and sharpen a wooden stick, enabling him to catch fish and avoid starvation. However, a new challenge arises: he can't consume the raw fish or any uncooked food. He realizes he needs fire to cook his meals. He tirelessly attempts to ignite a fire using the wooden spear, but despite his efforts, he only ends up injuring his hand, leaving him frustrated. In his frustration, he angrily throws the volleyball away. Later, as he regains his composure, he notices his bloodied handprint on the ball and draws a smiley face on it, giving it the name Wilson since Wilson was written on it. He makes another arduous attempt to start a fire, and after a great deal of struggle, he finally succeeds. Overwhelmed with joy at the sight of the fire, he exclaims loudly, "I've discovered fire." Then, as time flies by, 4 years pass in the blink of an eye. Chuck's hair has grown long, as has Wilson's. He still carefully kept the watch given to him by Kelly 4 years ago, cherishing her memory and longing for her company. On this island, Chuck's sole companion is Wilson. He shares a deep bond with him, although they occasionally have their disagreements, but Chuck promptly apologizes and seeks forgiveness. He has become a master of survival on the island, effortlessly spearing fish with a wooden spear, as if it were a mere game for him. One day, while sleeping, he is awakened by a noise from outside. He gets up and finds a tin canister. An idea strikes him that he can repurpose it as an improvised sail to escape from the island. After facing numerous challenges and within a few days, he successfully constructs a raft and attaches the canister to it, ensuring that the raft will catch the wind and propel itself. Chuck understands the risks involved but believes that taking a chance at sea is preferable to a lifetime spent on the island without making an attempt. Before embarking on his journey, He etches a message on a stone on the island. Chuck Noland was here, 1500 days, escape to sea. Tell Kelly Frears I love her. With that, he sets out on his voyage. Wilson accompanies him, serving as a constant source of motivation for Chuck. However, that very night, a powerful storm hits the ocean, causing Chuck's raft to sustain severe damage, leaving him stranded on top of it. When he awakens in the morning, he realizes that Wilson is nowhere to be found. Overwhelmed with anxiety, he frantically searches for his beloved companion and eventually spots him floating in the distance. Chuck's bond with Wilson was incredibly strong, compelling him to plunge into the sea in a desperate attempt to retrieve his companion. But he soon realizes that he can't do anything anymore as Wilson is too far to rescue. Today turns out to be the worst day for Chuck in these 4 years, marked by the loss of his cherished companion. Resigned to his fate, he lies down on the raft, accepting his sorrow. However, a few hours later, a cargo ship appears near his raft, awakening him from his slumber, and the crew of the ship rescues him. FedEx throws a party to celebrate the return of one of its employees, and soon this news becomes a sensation. Kelly is shocked to hear that Chuck is alive. Over the past 4 years, Kelly has gotten married and now has a child. After the party, Chuck goes to Kelly's house, but before he can ring the doorbell, Kelly opens the door and is overjoyed to see Chuck. She hugs him tightly. Since it's nighttime, Kelly's husband is upstairs sleeping. The two of them have a long conversation, and then Chuck returns the watch that Kelly had given him, which was a precious family heirloom. However, Chuck keeps a photo of Kelly from the watch. Then Kelly shows Chuck his car, which holds numerous memories for both of them. Chuck and Kelly both come to the realization that their paths have diverged, and they can no longer be together. Despite their profound love for each other, life has moved on, and circumstances have drastically changed. As they bid their final goodbyes, they passionately kiss each other. Then Chuck starts to leave in his car, and witnessing him go, Kelly feels a profound sadness and a sense of loss. She yells loudly, chases after Chuck's car, and gives him a deep passionate kiss. Chuck asks Kelly to get into the car, and they sit in silence for a while, contemplating their next steps. However, Chuck, being mature, tells Kelly that she should go home, and he leaves her at the doorstep. Then we see Chuck sitting at his home with his friend. He says, I spent 4 years alone on that island, and there were moments when I contemplated death or even considered suicide. I had even prepared a noose, but something inside me prevented me from doing it, because deep inside, I had hoped that one day I would return home and marry Kelly. It was the hope of meeting Kelly that kept me alive and breathing. And now that I have returned home, Kelly is not with me. But now all I know is that I must not give up in life and keep breathing. Who knows what surprises the next morning may bring for me. Then we see Chuck still having a FedEx package with him, which he had saved from the island, with an angel wings design on it. This was the last package that Chuck has not opened, hoping that he will deliver it when he returns home. Responsibility of delivering this package was also a reason why Chuck hasn't committed suicide. He gets into his car to deliver the package but finds no one at home. He leaves a note with the package that reads, "This package saved my life. Thank you, Chuck Noland." Afterward, we see Chuck standing at a crossroad, feeling uncertain about his next destination and looking at a map. Just then, a lady arrives and notices Chuck's lost expression. She remarks, "You seem lost." Chuck responds, "Really?" Then she asks him where he's headed, and Chuck admits he was just deciding that. The lady kindly provides him with directions for each road, indicating where they lead, before taking her leave. Just then Chuck notices that even her truck bears the same wings design as the parcel he just delivered, heading in the same direction he had come from. Upon witnessing this, a smile appears on Chuck's face. At the beginning of the movie, we are shown the same house with the sign with Dick and Bettina written on it. However, when Chuck returns there after 4 years, the sign no longer includes Dick, suggesting that Bettina has also lost her partner, just like Chuck. Now, there is a possibility that these two might form a relationship together. That's why Chuck scans all 4 roads and then gazes in the direction Bettina had gone. There is hope in his eyes and a smile on his face. And with this scene, movie comes to an end. The IMDb rating of this movie is 7.8, but I'll give it a 8.4. If you like the explanation, please like and subscribe. See you all in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.